Home is where the heart is, or so they say. Walls may offer us comfort, but they can only keep outsiders who want in at bay for so long. Imagine buying your dream house only to find out it comes with a stalker who wants young blood. That's allegedly what happened to a family in Westfield, New Jersey, but is this a stalker or a different kind of deception? Today on Behind These Walls, we explore the New Jersey Watcher House. On June 2, 2014, a family of 5 purchased their dream home in Westfield, New Jersey for $1.3 million. I will be changing real names and referring to this family as the Williams throughout the video, and the Williams bought the house from another family who I will refer to as the Scott family, for clarity's sake. The beautifully restored colonial was just over a century old with 6 bedrooms, multiple fireplaces, high ceilings, and a newly finished basement. With over 3,900 square feet, there was plenty of room for the Williams, consisting of a stay-at-home mom, her husband, an insurance executive, and their 3 young children. Though the neighborhood was safe, the Williams felt threatened when they realized their new home came with a stalker, whose family allegedly has been keeping tabs on the house since the 1920s. Property records, however, show no indication of any suspicious stalkers beforehand. Within a century, the house saw multiple owners without incident. The house was built in 1905, and its first owner was J. Herbert Pearsall, followed by Mayor William H. Davies and his wife Florence in 1913. They resided there until 1947, when Davies retired and sold the home to his son Ernest and daughter-in-law Frances. Just a few years later, in 1951, Ernest and Frances relocated to Florida, and the house is sold to Dillard and Mary Bird. Each of these owners purchased the home for only $1. Then the Schaefers had ownership of the home until 1990, when it was sold to the Scott family, who purchased the home for $370,000. The Scott family then sold to the Williams family for $1.3 million in 2014. However, after the Williams purchased the home, they received several disturbing letters and never moved in, claiming they feared harm might come to one of them or their children. The letters came from someone calling themselves the Watcher. On June 5, 2014, the Williams received the first letter from the Watcher, then the second on June 18th, and the third and final on July 18th. Only snippets of the letters have been released, but we can gather a fairly good idea of the eerie nature from those alone. Here are the excerpts. The property has been the subject of my family for decades. My grandfather watched the house in the 1920s, and my father watched in the 1960s. It is now my time. I have been put in charge of watching and waiting for its second coming. Why are you here? I will find out. Have they found out what is in the walls yet? In time they will. You have changed it and made it so fancy. It cries for the past and what used to be, in the time when I roamed its halls, when I ran from room to room, imagining the life with the rich occupants there. And now I watch and wait for the day when the young blood will be mine again. You need to fill the house with the young blood I requested. I asked the previous owners to bring me young blood. Once I know their names, I will call them and draw them to me. I am pleased to know your names, and the name of the young blood you have brought me. Will the young bloods play in the basement? Who has the bedrooms facing the street? I'll know as soon as you move in. It will help me to know who is in which bedroom, then I can play better. All the windows and doors in the house allow me to watch you and track you as you move through the house. I am in charge. Who I am the Watcher. After reading the letters, the Williams tried to resell the property in 2015, and when there were no solid offers, they filed a lawsuit against the former owners, the Scotts, with the Union County Superior Court, allegedly never contacting authorities to investigate the harassment first. The Williams are seeking nullification of their contract, punitive damages, and a refund of the purchase price with interest, alleging that the Scott family never informed them of the Watcher. The Williams say that they are unable to live in the home without extreme anxiety and fear for their children's safety and well-being. The Scott family, however, says the only letter they received from this Watcher came days before closing, and it noted that there would be a new family moving into the home who claimed a right of possession and/or ownership of the home, but the letter was unthreatening and therefore disposed of. But none of this answers the question, who is the Watcher? Once police were involved, they determined through DNA tests the writer of the letters was possibly female, but beyond this, they had no other leads. The Williams then hired an FBI profiler, Joe Navarro, to analyze the type of person the Watcher could be and to determine if he actually posed a threat. Navarro concluded the letter writer was likely an older person who has issues that could have stemmed back to childhood. Navarro asks, did he suffer from a loss of money, come from a poor family, once wanted to live there and couldn't? You don't want to ignore a theme that's repeated. Navarro also says that from his experience, most incidents occur within 1 kilometer, and therefore he believes this indicates the Watcher might live nearby. All experts seem to agree that there's definitely something not right with the Watcher. James Allen Fox, a dean of the School of Criminology and Criminal Justice at Northeastern University, said, "This very well could be someone who's enjoying the impact they're having by terrifying strangers. It makes them feel powerful. They get a thrill from it." He suggests this could be a pattern of someone suffering delusions. Thankfully, there has been no evidence anyone's acted physically on the threats. Mentally disturbed or not, there's no proof suggesting that the Watcher is the next in a line of stalkers. No documents have surfaced indicating any threats to previous owners. Lauren Evans, a writer for The Gothamist, even contacted former owner Bill Schaefer, who bought the house in 1955, and he said he only had happy memories there and received no strange mail. Evans also received an email claiming that the Watcher was the adult son of neighbors who lived just down the road and that he harassed neighbors, but no one went to the police, afraid he would retaliate violently. However, it's possible the story has no factual basis, as most neighbors have never heard rumors like this. In fact, most neighbors only know as much as the news has reported and say that the neighborhood is considered very safe. So, with no physical evidence of this Watcher, no word-of-mouth rumors being perpetuated, and with the Williams keeping rather silent on the whole ordeal, we're left to our own speculations. Who is the Watcher? What does he or she want? And why terrorize a family in order to achieve those means? Is there really a mentally ill or violent sociopath waiting for young blood, or is it all part of an elaborate hoax? We have several theories to wade through for possible answers. Theory number 1. The Watcher is using the letters as a scare tactic to drive the price down so it reaches a purchasable amount for the Watcher. This line of thought derives from the timing of the letters, which were sent to the Scotts right before closing and the Williams just after. However, the Williams lawyer claims that there was no bidding war, so this seems less likely. Theory number 2. The Watcher is a mentally ill stalker who wants to terrorize or cause the family harm. As much as I personally hope this isn't the truth, it is a possibility we have to consider. We certainly have heard the experts weigh in with suggestions that it was someone with money issues growing up, or someone who was delusional. Looking at the amount of time between each past sale, which is years or even decades, makes me feel like there were never any former Watchers and that it's not a family affair, so to speak. Though the mind of a mentally unstable, ill, or drug-riddled person might explain the delusional beliefs. Theory number 3, our final theory. The possibility of some sort of elaborate hoax orchestrated by a prankster, an enemy of the family, or some have suggested from the Williams family themselves. Now, maybe you're thinking, why would anyone purchase a $1.3 million home only to not move in, take a year to sue someone, come up with this elaborate story of the Watcher to give the illusion that they were being stalked? Maybe they'd overestimated their ability to pay mortgage payments and wanted an excuse to sue the former owners for more money. In the lawsuit, the Williams claim that they have done hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of renovations, yet no neighbors recall see any work being done, and there were never any permits filed with the city to allow such work. That doesn't mean renovations didn't happen, but it's an interesting point. What doesn't align with this theory, however, is that in inventing a stalker attached to the property, the Williams will be driving the value of the home down, not up. So far, they haven't been able to sell, even dropping below the original purchase price. Another point against this one is it's really difficult to stalk one location to the extent of knowing who is in which bedroom without being seen. Unless that person has undetected digital surveillance, there's only so many places to watch the house from. Surely someone in a neighborhood with million-dollar properties is going to notice a suspicious car, a passerby, or even a neighbor taking too much interest in the house. But then again, the Williams family had 12 mortgages within 10 years, according to Horace Corbin, the publisher of the town's local paper, the Westfield Leader. He also points out the inconsistency of the mortgage prices. How can a couple with a $300,000 house in Scotch Plains and a $170,000 mortgage 10 years ago have a $1.1 million mortgage at a mortgage rate that doesn't make sense? You might ask those questions. I also personally find it strange that the police allegedly weren't contacted to investigate the harassment until nearly a year after receiving the letters, after the lawsuit was filed in 2015. Instead, the Williams went directly to the Union County prosecutor. Westfield's police department is a reputable one, so it makes no sense not to try and identify the sender of the letters. According to NJ.com, Mayor